Jaiz Bank PLC is Nigeria's premier and largest non-interest financial services company built on the foundation of trust, professionalism and excellence to deliver innovative financial solutions and exceptional customer experience. The bank, through the odds, have shown steady growth in income and profit as well as market share. Latest audited reports and accounts of Jaiz Bank shows double-digit growth across key performance indicators, recording a 3.10 billion naira profit before tax, a 45% increase of over 2.1 billion naira recorded in the previous year. The results of the bank have consistently shown stable growth trajectory as the bank continues to expand and deploys innovative technology to bring alternative financing closer to the people. In a bid to ease transactions for its customers and merchants, Jaiz Bank recently deployed the new Quick Response Code. An NQR code is an indigenous payment platform designed by the Nigerian Interbank Settlement Scheme to provide a reliable and enhanced payment experience to load transactions for customers. Well, to discuss this, I introduced him earlier. He's the Executive Director, Business Development South, Mr. Abdul Fattah Amo. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Tolulope, for having me.
It's great to
It's a pleasure being here.
All right. Let's start with just last week, you declared the dividends for your shareholders and improved gross earnings by about 33% profit before tax. That's 3.10 billion. I said that in my intro. A 45% increase of 2.1 billion recorded in the previous year. Please tell us about this. What are you doing differently at this time?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, viewers all over the globe. Once again, it's a pleasure being here. Jaiz Bank, as you rightly noted, is the premier non-interest bank in Nigeria. We've operated for about 9 years now. Talking specifically to the numbers that were recorded last year, 2020 financial year. Yes, you've said it all. Gross earnings grew by 33% to attain 19.6 billion naira. PBT were able to grow it by 45% and close that at 3.1 billion naira. Profit after tax, we recorded 19% growth with about 2.9 billion naira at the end of 2020 financial year. We're also very excited to note that with the support we've gotten from the shareholders, the board of directors, and most importantly, from our customers, without leaving out our regulators, we're able to deliver the highest growth in the Nigerian banking industry in 2020 in terms of total assets. We actually grew our total assets by 40%. To close at 234 billion naira. You know, as excited as we are actually about this outstanding performance, we believe in Jaiz Bank that we've not even started. You know, we've not started scratching the surface because the industry we operate in Nigeria is arguably a 47 to 50 trillion naira in total assets space. You know, so doing 234 billion, yes, we're delighted, we're excited, and we're grateful to all the distinguished stakeholders that have contributed to delivering this superlative performance. But it's just the beginning for us. Now, how did we come about this? Yes, at the center of it all is our customers, is people like you who were also calling upon to join the trade.
Yes.
You know, so essentially we try to listen more to customers, the products that we have that we believe are very, very competitive and offer a credible alternative to what we call conventional banking. So we're able to reach out to a lot more customers, and we've been rewarded by their patronage, and we're indeed very grateful for that. We know we are not at our best yet. Our best is yet to come. We'll listen more and ensure that we surpass and exceed the expectations. We don't joke with technology beyond the brick and mortar business. As a bank, we've also embarked on what we call a digital transformation journey. We started in 2018, about 3 years ago, you know, and we've seen the bank invest heavily, you know, almost 10 to 15% of its shareholders' funds, you know, in the last 2-3 years, you know, in revamping IT infrastructure, you know, from hardware to servers. You know, as we speak today, we have a state-of-the-art hyper-converged infrastructure, which is only available to a few banks in this industry today. This is in response to the yearnings of our customers, because as patronage increases over time, we need to continually up our game, you know, to ensure that we continue to deliver quality service to our customers. You know, so that's about it.
So it's a really good way to start that kind of breakdown, all-encompassing. But Islamic finance is becoming more popular in Nigeria with a lot of entrants into that sector. Now, how do you think government can take advantage of it at this time where we're looking at underdevelopment, agricultural revolution policy, of course, energy and job creation?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Let me first of all comment on the growth or the size of Islamic finance globally. This is a sector in the financial space, you know, that accounts for almost $3 trillion, you know, in financial assets, you know, out of which almost 70%, you know, comes from the banking industry, Islamic banking industry. So in Nigeria, this model of banking is still at its infancy, no doubt. Yes, we've got new entrants, and we're very excited about that, because as the pioneer Islamic bank, non-interest bank in Nigeria, you know, we do a lot of collaboration and cooperation, even with the ones that are coming up and that are also operating now. So having said that, a number of ways that the government can continually tap into this model of banking. We've seen a very good example in Sukuk that the government, you know, at sovereign level has issued. I mean, they've done 3 tranches so far, you know, of almost 400 billion naira. And again, this is also still scratching the surface. It would interest us to note that economies such as Malaysia, Indonesia, and what have you, know, have used Sukuk as an instrument, for instance, to develop critical infrastructure, you know, in their countries, you know, and you travel to such places, you see massive infrastructure, you know, so a lot of it, you know, were done using Sukuk. So with more enabling environment here, I mean, we've got a lot of resources. Nigerians have a lot of resources. All they want to see is the value, both in the immediate and long term, you know. So with a bit more on the part of government, the economy opening up a lot more, we expect that before the end of the year, perhaps the government might also still be looking in the direction of raising another Sukuk, you know, which largely has been used for some road construction, yes, you know, and yes, I believe it's been widely accepted by Nigerians. Now, in the area of agricultural revolution, if you like, as Jaiz Bank, we've also done a lot without being immodest. I mean, relative to our size, I mean, we've done billions of naira worth of financing, you know, partnering with the Central Bank of Nigeria, you know, and I must seize this opportunity to also appreciate the CBN governor and his team for all the support given to us, because no matter how passionate we are about certain investments or financing in the economy, if there are no products, you know, that align with our principle, with our model of banking, we wouldn't be able to deal, So but the Central Bank of Nigeria listened to our yearnings, and they were able to come up with products on the intervention schemes, that align with our model of banking. So with that, we've been able to participate very, very actively. And we're very delighted, very happy to see quite a number of our customers do stuffs, great stuffs, in different parts of the country that they operate in, And I'm talking about real sector development. I mean, you see massive engagement of farmers. You see some level of industrialization, some level of mechanization, particularly in the rice revolution, if you like, that is currently going on. So we've been very, very active in that space, among others. So there's so much that can still be derived, as we further exploit Islamic banking.
Let's look at the current challenges facing the Nigerian economy and, of course, its impact on the banking industry. And, of course, if you profile solutions, what will be your advice to government? Okay.
Thank you very much, Tolu. This is really overflowed. We all know what the issues are, top of which is security. Without having a relatively secure environment, there can't be any meaningful development. So it's a no-brainer. So security is one challenge. We know the government is doing all it could at different levels, from federal to state, but a lot still needs to be done. People need to be able to sleep with their two eyes closed, and from farmers to business operators to industrialists, so everybody must feel secure, and whatever role we as citizens need to play, we can't afford to do otherwise. Number two, in my view, is infrastructure, and we can't say this well enough. From power to massive transportation, yes, we note with delight some progress that the current administration is making, in the railway side of things, but so much still needs to be done. And yes, Nigeria may not have all the resources to go it all alone, which is where, I'll be combining the solutions with the challenges, so at least we can tie everything together. Yeah. So Nigeria, just like any other country, will not have all of the resources that it requires, to do all of these things. So, which is why the number three challenge that I've noted here, ease of doing business, more or less the enabling environment. So the more government is able to deal with this, the better for the economy, the better for the populace, and the better for the generality of all of us. So massive critical infrastructure, yes, the partnership with the Chinese. We're seeing results where we can do a lot better. Yes. The sukuk that I mentioned earlier is also a veritable source of raising the funds from within, and once the environment is more enabling, it means that both local and foreign investors, are able to bring real capital instead of hot monies that you get to find every now and again, So with some stable investments that come into the country, once people have that sense of security, they find it very convenient to do business, real business in the country, then we would all be better for it. Human capital is also another challenge. Yes, Nigeria is richly blessed with people, with a lot of intellectuals and all of that. But if you look at what the critical industries need vis-a-vis what is available, there would always be a gap. And if the number one country in the whole world can also have that challenge in terms of sizable number. I mean, some of you will recall what the MD of Apple said sometime last year, that they will find it difficult to relocate out of China, for instance, because China is about the only place that they could find the mass number of intellectual requirements that they need for their kind of products. You know, they couldn't even find that in the US. So let alone Nigeria. So we need to continually build capacity, you know, of our citizenry. So we need to revamp our educational system. We need to improve on the employability of our young graduates. You know, in Jaiz Bank, for instance, of course, we have tried to make our modest contributions in this space with the scheme that we introduced almost right from inception of the bank about 9 years ago. So wherein we take in graduates, fresh graduates, they go through a kind of induction program in the bank for about a year and a year plus, you know, and the successful ones amongst them, you know, get converted, you know, and they get empowered more and more. So we can't do this well enough. So I believe these 4 critical issues put together, if we can address them at different levels, you know, on the government side, then the private entrepreneurs, you know, Nigeria definitely will be better for it.
It's always interesting when you're talking to someone that has the knowledge of the sectors. Time is just running so very fast. But wrapping up this now, what's your take on CBN's stand on Forex restriction? Do you think this has any impact on the sector? And tell us what your customers should expect as we move on in the future. Let's do this very fast. Okay.
Thank you very much, Tolu. Yes, CBN, I mean, I don't envy the CBN governor, for instance, because he's doing a very, very difficult job.
Yes, he is.
Nigeria still remains a highly import-dependent economy, I mean, which is rather unfortunate, you know. So, and where you have scarcity, you know, our external reserve keeps dwindling, you know, because we import more than we export, you know, so, which is called trade deficit. You know, so when you are in that kind of situation, so you would hardly be able to meet all of your import needs. So where then lies the solution? Is what everybody says, but how much of it are we doing? We'll give kudos to such interventionists like the Dangote Group, for instance, and other key players, you know, in modular refinery establishment. So you can imagine, so if rough and dirty, it takes about $10 billion annually out of our ad-hand external reserve to import petroleum products into Nigeria. So imagine going into 2022 and beyond, all of a sudden Nigeria stops, you know, committing such hard resources to such importation. You know, so that gives us a little breather. So by the time you now layer on that export potentials, and I must say that as Jaiz Bank, as relatively small as we are, I mean, we have quite a number of exporters in our books that we've also been supporting, you know, some of which also add value, you know, to natural produce, you know, and do their exports, and it's been very, very good, and it can only get better. So the effect of CBN rationing, of FX on our bank, of course, is the same with other players in the market. So we are unable to meet our customers' needs in that regard. We also have to continually negotiate, you know, with our correspondent banks abroad, you know, I mean, and they also understand what is going on. You'd always have the Naira liquidity here, you know, so we're getting enough dollars, you know, to service those obligations sometimes is an issue. But we believe that with some of these positive developments that we're expecting, you know, as from next year, we believe strongly that things can only get better. But you and I also have a role to play, you know, so how much of local products are we patronizing? You know, how much of entrepreneurs within our areas of influence are we also able to encourage? You know, as we all know, the engine of growth of every economy is the medium and small scale enterprises. Yes, they have their challenges, high failure rate and what have you, but you can't run away completely from developing such a very critical segment of the economy.
Yeah, so it's a good way to leave it. We are really out of time, but interesting conversation with you, I must confess. Executive Director, Business Development South, Mr. Abdul Fattah Mo, thank you very much. And we expect to have you again. We'll keep a tab on activities of Jaiz Bank, the banking industry, and we'd like you to be in to help us analyze some of these issues.
It would always be a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
All right.
Thank you very much, viewers.
All right, then.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.